Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to another edition of RailCats Talk podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Savedich, and the season is just right around the corner. The promotion schedule is finally out. I have an interview with Gio Diaz coming up in this episode. That's mostly what it's going to be about, is Gio Diaz, but I have kind of fallen back on the reporting actual signings in the middle of interviewing Lamar Rogers, Andrew Mild, and Gio Diaz. We had 3 signings, mostly the week of the interviews with Andrew Mild and Lamar Rogers was when all these signings happened. So I was so caught up in doing the interviews and editing those and getting those planned, and the other portion of it kind of got put on the back burner of it. So before we get into the interview with Gio Diaz, I just want to go over the 3 signings that the RailCats had prior to the 23rd of April is what we're in now. First was Anders Diaz. I believe he was signed April 3rd, and he is 22 years old, from Venezuela. He was a Royals prospect. I'm just pulling up Royals prospect. Lamar Rogers had this to say: Anders was a part of a recent roster contraction of the MLB affiliate side. He brings impressive career numbers in almost every category and adds a value with experience as both a starter and reliever in his 5 seasons with the Kansas City Royals organization. When we just kind of look at his overall, all these stats, is the 1 season in single A, 3 seasons in rookie ball, and 2 in fall rookie ball. When we look at all the seasons combined, he had a 12-9 record at 3.38 ERA. He played in 61 games, started in 18. He had 3 saves, pitched 157 innings, had 153 hits, 81 runs, 59 earned. He gave up 81 runs, 59 were earned. Gave up 11 home runs, 26 walks. He struck out 149. He hit 11 batters, 13 wild pitches, whip of 1.140, hits per 9 of 8.8, home runs per 9 of 0.6, walks per 9 of 1.5, strikeouts per 9 8.5. That's a big thing, when I was talking with Lamar about the roster constrictions and cutting things down. And so you're kind of reaping the benefits. I think it's helping kind of counteract what happened with like Mexico, just kind of with them expanding their international players. It's kind of bringing that over. Obviously not the AA or AAA experience we've kind of seen with former pitchers, but this is a mold that Lamar Rogers is going to fit. Someone that can start and someone that can relieve, especially when you have injury issues like we've had in the past. This explains a lot behind it. I like the home runs per 9 is down. Strikeouts are high. Strikeouts per 9 are high. Hits per 9 can kind of go down, but it's kind of hard when you're a reliever / starter to kind of dictate those, how they're gonna, you only pitch 1 inning and you give up 1 hit. Like, obviously that's gonna amount to more than needs to be. So the whip is a little bit lower, which is impressive, even at that level. So it's gonna be interesting to see him coming in and playing. He's a right-handed thrower. The next one, looking at it real quick, is Ryan Munoz on October 8th. Looking at what Lamar Rogers had to say about Ryan here. Ryan brings the left-handed pitching flexibility to the front and middle of our bullpen, where he has experienced his best success as a pro. He also served previously as a starter, which could come into play as things occur during the season or if a spot start is needed. Hence, another player that fits the mold of Lamar Rogers. And from Puerto Rico, he's 25, left-handed thrower. He played mostly, so he's only really played in independent baseball, college baseball, and basically foreign winter league, Puerto Rican league, that kind of stuff. He was with New York since 2021 to 2023, so the last handful of years he was with New York. Looking at his independent seasons, he's a record of 12-13, ERA of 4.61, games played 65, games started 21. He finished one game with one save, pitched just shy of 200 at 199 innings pitched, gave up 221 runs, 126 he gave up 221 hits and 126 runs, 102 earned, home runs 22, walks 66, 145 strikeouts, 11 batters hit. He had a whip of 1.44, hits per 9 of 10, home runs per 9 of 1, walks 3 per 9, strikeouts 6.6. Obviously, most of his career looking aspect is going to be more in the relief role, so those numbers kind of, fluctuate a little bit higher than need be. So you can kind of take those numbers with a grain of salt to a certain extent. Not the most impressive numbers we've seen out of most of the signings with Lamar, but it's another guy to get an opportunity. He has played in the Frontier League. This is a step up. So, this year with the Puerto Rican League, he this is probably the most recent what we're gonna get. He had a 1-3 record, ERA of 2.77. He played in 26 games, didn't start any of them. So these are all relief appearances. So this is a positive here. He had one save, 39 innings pitched, 33 hits, 14 runs, 12 earned, no home runs, which is good. He walked 18, struck out 21, brings his whip to 1.30, hits per 9 of 7.6, walks per 9 of 4.2, strikeouts per 9 4.8. Realistically, when you're looking at the numbers, the Puerto Rican League is probably going to be a little bit more impressive than the Frontier numbers. So when we look at the recency bias, he has had a better season rolling in on that front. So looking forward to them bolstering the bullpen on this one. And then, Josh Smith is the next signing, and I think he came in April 10th. So like that week span of me trying to get all things set up just all kind of came together. This is what Lamar had to say about Smith here. Sorry for all the clicking around. Josh is a big-bodied, firm-throwing lefty that brings impressive overall career stats from his 4 years in the Texas Rangers organization. He'll play an important role in our Cats bullpen, and I'm excited to welcome him to the team. So we're just starting to kind of see the pitching side. I really think the roster from here on out is basically set. Maybe a couple more here that I would have to do the math on it, but I'm pretty sure right now the roster's set, and it's going to come down to, realistically speaking, what pitchers are going to stay. I just think that this year the overall team in general has a pretty good idea of depth. So I think the pitching, I think this is why we're seeing more starters and relievers, because I think the pitching staff might be a tad bit smaller this year than it might have been last year, just because of what they're bringing in and different things like that, especially with the fielding and the baiting, the talent that has been brought in via the fielding perspective and the batting perspective. So I think really the roster construction of the pitching staff is going to be more important here. But just looking at Josh Smith here, he's 27 years old, throws left, from Michigan. He was drafted by the Rangers in 25th round of the 2018 MLB draft from Grand Valley State University. Looking, he recently reached as Double A last year with Frisco, but he only played in one game. He didn't finish a full inning. He gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned. There's really nothing much there. It's all really kind of incomplete via Baseball Reference. It's kind of hard to elaborate on any of that kind of stuff. But when we look at his overall career stats, I'm gonna go with the minors necessarily, because the other and the college is a couple years prior. So when we look at the minors in general, he had an ERA of 287. Runs against a 4.45. He played in 83 games, didn't start a single game, so obviously reliever is going to be his spot. Potentially closers, probably what we're looking at. Even though he had only 4 saves, that's still going to rear its head up. I'm not really sure who's going to be necessarily the closer this year. Last year, DJ Wilkinson kind of came out of left field to be the closer. So it's going to be interesting on that one. He pitched 119.1 innings, gave up 125 hits, 59 runs, 38 earned. So obviously a lot of those runs that were against him really kind of came from a defensive issue. He gave up 10 home runs. He walked 50, struck out 111. He hit 8 batters. His whip was 1.466, hits per 9.4, home runs per 9.8, walks 3.8, strikeouts 8.4. So obviously big relief spot. This is where he's probably going to stay, is in that relief role. Obviously reaching the Double A once in 2022 and then a little bit here in 2023. I'm interested to see how this is all going to kind of work itself out on that portion of it. And then real quick, they announced today the promotion schedule, which honestly, I think I'm gonna cut a little bit of slack here. I was thinking about this because right a little bit, I think last week is when I got my confirmation email and everything to get onto Tixer and to start with my family passes and getting that system going. I think they were trying to get all that converted over. So it was kind of hard to release a promotion schedule when everything, because the single season tickets still weren't on sale. I think they were having some issues trying to convert everything over from the RailCats e-tix to the Tixer. So it was just one of those, like, trying to get it over. So once they got everything over, they were able to release the promotion schedule. Just a quick rundown of the promotion schedule here real quick. May 17th, magnet schedule, opening day. May 22nd, drawstring bag. I think, well, these are technically what the giveaways are. They're not the actual, like, nights. I don't know necessarily. It's kind of weird the way they have it, but I can run through that again. But this is the giveaway nights. May 17th, magnet schedule. May 21st, drawstring bag. May 31st, scarf. June 16th, trucker hat. June 29th is a replica jersey. The 27th of July is a beach towel. August 10th is backpack. August 31st, 80s foam trucker hat. September 2nd is the team card set. So that, I guess that was the giveaway promotions. This is the themed nights. May 17th home opener, May 21st school day, May 22nd tourism night presented by South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority, May 27th Memorial Day doubleheader presented by Indiana Beach, May 31st is the Wizard Night presented by Fifth Third, June 2nd is Americana Beer Fest, June 14th Hoosier Lottery Beneficiary Night brought to you by Hoosier Lottery. 15th of June is 90s Night presented by CareSource. June 16th, Father's Day presented by Xfinity. June 26th, Youth and Senior Day presented by ARP Indiana. June 28th, Princesses and Pirates Night presented by Tradewinds. June 30th, Bark in the Park, presented by Arbon View Animal Hospital. July 2nd is an interesting one because it's a kickoff to Independence Day. I don't know what that's going to include. But then July 3rd is military appreciation by Gary Public Transportation. July 4th is Independence Day presented by Xfinity. July 12th, Star Wars Night presented by Beacon Hill Dental. July 13th, First Responders Night presented by Corson Fire and Security. Sensory Night, the 14th, Youth and Senior Day, the 18th. July 26th is Country Night, Beach Night, the 27th. August 9th, Union Night, the 10th, Back to School. 16th, Blues Brothers Night. 17th, Breast Cancer Awareness. 18th, Clean Air Day. 30th, Dino Night. 31st, 80s Night. And then September 2nd is the Fan Appreciation Day. All you can eat Mondays are back. Taco Tuesdays, $1 pierogies. My favorite $1 pierogies night. Wednesdays, $1 pierogies with $5 craft beer. And Taco Tuesdays is also $3 tacos and $5 margarita. Thirsty Thursday, domestic beer, $3, 12 ounce. And then $2 hot dogs. And then Fridays are post-game fireworks. Saturdays are pre-game autographs. Post-game kids run the bases. Sunday fun days. Pre-game on the catch on the field, and post-game for the runs. So that's that. That's all that. I know it took a lot longer than I wanted to, but I had to get it all in there. I had to get it all in there because I missed a bunch of days. So there it is. That's the promotion schedule. That's the new signings. May 10th at Impact Field. I'm probably going to be there. I don't know. I'm off that day. I close the next day. I'm probably going to get tickets, but it's been busy. Okay, it's been busy. Hopefully I'll be going back to my old schedule shortly, but I don't know. I have no idea. The world of working in retail is all over the place. But anyways, without further ado, here is my interview with Gio Diaz. I have the franchise leading Steeler for the RailCats in a single season, returning for his second year, Gio Diaz. Gio, how are we doing?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is all mine. Thanks for joining the show. How's your off season been?
Off season's been really good. Pretty relaxing this last month especially. After the season, I had the opportunity to go back to Puerto Rico, and then I played in Mexico with two teams actually, and then now I'm back getting ready to go to Gary and play for the RailCats. So I'm excited.
As most of us RailCats fans are excited to come see you come back. We were kind of on the fence. We didn't know if you were necessarily coming back because last we heard that you were in Mexico. We kind of know how that goes. You're in the Mexican League, probably not going to be coming back. So, take us through the steps of the Puerto Rican League, and then like the how did the Mexican League come into play?
Yeah. So for 2 years, I've been playing. I've been signed with Cangrejeros de Santurce, which is in the Puerto Rican Winter League. Last year was my first year in the league. Well, yeah, last year was my first year in the league, and then, I went into this year really prepared after having a good year in Gary. It's just, at 25, I've only been in the professional game for 4 years. That's what a lot of people don't realize is that I did play college baseball, and I've only been a pro for 4 years. So, I really still feel like, still just getting started in the game. And, a lot of the situations that can't happen to me in Puerto Rico and Mexico were just situations where I performed really well. It just wasn't the right fit in terms of a lot of experienced guys coming in, and I just didn't have the opportunity a lot to get a lot of playing time. So that's how Mexico came in the picture. I wasn't getting a lot of playing time like I wanted to in Puerto Rico, and opportunity in Mexico and Puebla came to me and my agent, and I got to play every day, and we ended up winning the championship, the Serie de Rey in the Mexican League. And then the new year happened, and then I wasn't sure if I was going to get another opportunity to go back to Mexico, But the new year came, and I had the opportunity to go to Guadalajara, Jalisco, Charros de Jalisco, and again, I played spring training. I played a few games with them. I played really well. I feel like my game is a lot better than last year. It was just a situation where being 25, competing with guys that are, 35 to 39 years old in my position, I got to keep building my resume in terms of the level that I'm at to get to that next level. But yeah, that was the off season. Played in Mexico, played in Puerto Rico, and now I'm just back training, getting ready to have a good year, Gary.
Yep, we're ready for that. After the season with the Mexican League, did Lamar reach out to you, or did you give him a call, or how did the work back to Gary come
Yeah.
apart?
Well, after the season occurred, um, Lamar has always knew what my plans were after the season. So we were always in touch pretty much. He always knew what was going on with my progress in Mexico, and if I had the opportunity to come back to the United States and play, that Gary was going to be my first option to come back. And Lamar always knew what my plans were. If I were to come back to the United States, I wanted to play in Gary again.
Well, good. I'm glad that was the case on our end at least.
Oh yeah.
So just gonna kind of peel it back a little bit, going through just kind of your journey to through your career. How was when I look at your college statistics, they're just off especially the batting is just off the charts. I mean, I think you were averaging over 300. I think it's what 309. I think it was. Uh, you know, was the goal to try to get drafted? I know you were a free agent signing the Nationals. How did the college playing experience go lead into the signing with the Nationals?
Well, there's definitely a lot to it with 20 what happened in 2020 with COVID and all that happened there. But yeah, I've always wanted to play professional baseball. Um, in high school, even in college, I was still a very young, raw prospect. I feel like I my a bit like my skill set was always a little bit behind my over athleticism. I always feel like as a player, I've always had really good athleticism, good speed, able to play a lot of positions, things like that. It was just in terms of numbers in college, I didn't really have um I don't feel like I had the overall package at the maturity yet as a player to really put a good seasons together and have monster years. So already at 2020, I was 21 and and I was having a great year, my junior year in 2020. We're having a great series. I remember the last series I had was at UCLA, and from that I had a really good series there, and that's when like the scouts were telling me like, "Hey man, like you have opportunity to go to get drafted at 21 years old." But obviously COVID happened, and that was a year I already knew I was gonna probably play professional with the draft and things like that. So I was, it was just a decision where I was like, I'm gonna take the opportunity and get into professional baseball, get my feet wet with it already.
You talk about your senior year the 2020 season, the 2021,
Yeah,
you were batting almost close to 400. You had an
yeah,
OPS of 859. I just have the numbers right here in front of me.
yeah.
Um, but what was I know you played a little bit of rookie ball and a little bit of single A. What was the affiliate ranks like? What did you learn from that?
I learned a lot, honestly. The biggest thing I learned was, being able to play, being able to play baseball every day really helped me out because that's another thing too. When I was in college, I was really looking forward to playing baseball every day and making it like my job. Um, and Yeah, getting into professional baseball with the Nationals was great. I was able to play with great players, and that was my first taste of how to be a professional, how to create routines, and how to stack your day up to be able to prepare for a game.
And then obviously the 2021 season turned into 22 and 22 season with the Rocky Mountain Vibes in the Pioneer League. Looking at your numbers there, again, off the chart numbers. That was the biggest thing when you're coming from the Pioneer League to the American Association. A lot of times the numbers are a little bit more inflated as far as
Yeah,
just because where you're playing and stuff like that. And your numbers really in the American Association didn't inflate too much. So the batting average was a little bit inflated, but I think that's just overall. What I'm getting to is the Pioneer League versus the American Association. Where's the talent between the two?
Yeah, the talent. I would say like the Pioneer League is almost like a rookie ball single A type talent where there's a lot of young guys that just came out of college. I played in that league when I was 20. I think I was 23 when I was in that league. So there's a lot of 21 to 23-year-olds that just came out of college or just came out of rookie bar single A like myself. So um, I think the pitching was a lot easier, but obviously the American Association, the pitchers, it's closer to double A, triple A pitching in terms of velocity, in terms of how they attack you. And that's a little bit of the difference. I think it's like a double A, triple A level and ex major league, a lot of ex major league pitchers that pitch in that league. So yeah, the pitching is more competitive, definitely in the American. Just the younger players are able to play in the Pioneer League because of the rules and things like that.
Yeah, I think I was listening to this week in association. They had a Red Hawks pitcher on who was in the Double A, and he said it was actually easier pitching in the Double A than it was the Single A because he felt more comfortable because that was the level of the association. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what makes last year so impressive is that there wasn't much of a downfall. And I know when I was talking to Lamar, and I was talking to him about you coming back, and he told me he had a conversation with you at the beginning of the season that you probably weren't going to make the roster. Like you
Yeah.
were one of those, like you're going to have to fight for your spot. And he was telling me, hey, every day at practice or a game, like he's going to take another guy's spot. What went behind that aspect of having a conversation of you're probably not going to make the roster to you're one of the cornerstones of the Gary South Shore RailCats.
Well, like e- basically each year that in my career I've been in a situation every year I pretty go with my in my mind with that situation that I have to go and take a spot because baseball nothing is guaranteed. Like uh, managers have a very difficult positioning on who they could bring on and things like that. So each year I've had that mindset of okay, I got to come in guns blazing. I got to come in and do my best. Even in college, like I played with a lot of good players in college, high school. I always had that mindset. I got to come in ready to go play different positions and give the manager an opportunity to see me helping the team win.
Now I know out of all the three, I mean, you've played every position that I think you could possibly play, probably besides
Yeah.
like catcher and
Mhm.
pitcher at this point. But uh, you know, I would assume that probably second base is your most comfortable position. But what position do you really enjoy playing?
Honestly, I enjoy playing all of them at this point. That's obviously a skill set I have where I can play all around the diamond. And I think that's what helps the managers too that I play with. It gives them that the flexibility. But honestly, every position I get to play on the field, it's really exciting, and I just like every position. Infield, it all feels the same, and I really enjoy being in the infield, and I enjoy as much as being in the outfield, getting fly balls and tracking them down. But honestly, at this point in my career, I literally can tell you any position I feel really happy and grateful to be able to help a team win because obviously, like Lamar says in this game now, um, it's almost like positionless baseball with how it's even at the major league level where guys are playing multiple positions and I think it keeps your mind fresh too to be able to play multiple positions and it challenges you um, to be ready, and not be stuck in one position. But yeah, second base last year I played a lot of second base and wherever Lamar needs me to help the team, really, I'm ready to play. I'm in shape to play. Um, I'm in great shape to play any position, just like I was last year. If anything, this year and physically I'm in better conditions coming in because of the off season that I had.
Yeah, that just being on the sideline or being in the stands and watching and seeing you come in and for a while there it was like how do you keep him out of the lineup? Because one, he's getting on base left and right. He's stealing bases left and right. But, you never really had a permanent home until really Woodworth got hurt. After he had the injury,
Yeah.
that first game, I noticed a little bit. I don't know if it was just something that I noticed or it was just that one game, but like you took that position and I know there was a couple like throwing errors. It looked like you were rushing a lot of things, but I think it was just I don't know if it was the nerves of like this is the spot that, you know, I'm this is like going to be a spot for me to keep
Yeah.
in the lineup. You know, did was that an effect in that game? If you remember that game at all, I forget what game it
I think
was.
it was a double play I had with Lingua that I just set up wrong, and I do remember that. But the thing was when my game elevated so much just being around, even being around Michael Woodward, because he's from California and we played. I don't remember what college he played for, but I'm pretty sure he played in like the collegiate scene in California, and being able to play with him helped my defense out so much. Even when he was hurt, he was helping me out with my defense and giving me tips on how to play the position better. So yeah, my defense getting to Gary just improved each game because of Lamar, because of the coaching staff we had, Woody, Langua, all those infielders there. Just being around those players, my game. I mean, you probably see my game started getting a little bit better and better and better. But just being around those guys, my game it skyrocketed because of the level of experience those guys have. I can't really say I had that. I had that in the Pioneer League and in the Nationals. With having like a full season like that in that environment was a big game changer to my game. Something about being in Gary, Indiana with that with your Gary South Shore and the players that we had last year. It just was just like a culmination that really helped my game just improve. And I've never, I never felt uncomfortable. I've never felt never felt uncomfortable in those situations. And I'm 25 now, but last year I was 24, and my game just started molding together to the type of caliber that I kind of want to go forward. And just being around those really good players just helped my game out tremendously.
Now, going into the record breaking of steals, going through your steal list here, you know, there's only one other time. I think that was when you were 20 in the 2019 season, and it looks like a summer ball probably, where
Yeah,
you stole 39, and then
yeah,
last year stole 37, and you were only caught 3 times, which is kind of unreal. I mean, I think you got picked off a couple times. They don't really
yep,
count that as caught stealings, but
yep.
was did you have the green light all year, like from the beginning? Was there a lot of like calls for you to go stealing, or was it just kind of like if you see the opportunity, just take it?
Yeah, it was a combination of both, I would say. Lamar saw the the speed that I had, and he utilized it very well in terms of relaying signs when he needed to do it. But honestly, Lamar and I both agreed I should have probably ran a little bit more even last year. I wasn't expecting to run as much as that, but I think this year it's going to be even more, like pushing the limit a little bit more, but just because of what I did last year. But it might be a little bit difficult too this year with the catchers knowing, he's got that many stolen bases, but it's only going to help the offense out too, because it's just going to put it in their head that, okay, when, you get on base, maybe have to hold them on, and it just helps the overall offense, the overall offensive aspect of it. But no, that's my game, and thankfully Lamar, he likes that type of play, and he encouraged it, so it was a good situation to be in.
I just had to confirm it because I talked to Brunson last year and we talked with Lamar.
Yep.
They were basically like, yeah, it's just they got green light, just let them go. And a lot of times it
Yeah.
was like I asked about the hit and run. I think you would have had a handful more stolen bases if when Valera came in, if he wasn't sitting
Yep.
behind you with his ability
Yeah.
to take
Yeah.
the ball the right. So
Yeah.
it was always a curiosity. I was like, was that a setup hit and run kind of thing? And not until Lamar came on did he say, no, Valera is just that good of a hitter where he understands like there's going to be a hole there, so he's just
Yeah.
going to take it that way. So
No.
you
Yeah.
got robbed a couple.
No, I definitely told Valera, I was like, man, there'd be games where I had the bag and he'll foul it off, and I'll be like, Valera, like, man, like I have a bag right there, and Valera was like, man, I'm trying my best to hit it that way, I just it's not going through. So I was like, okay, but yeah, the conversation with Valera we had sometimes where he would look at me and we'll be in situations where like this is a good opportunity, and he was such a good backside hitter that it'll be easy first to third if everything connected right. And it's not gonna connect right all the time, but obviously has the ability to do that. And last year we were trying our best to get in those situations where I could get on third base and he can maybe get a double or get on first base and help the next guy out. So yeah, a lot of that happened, and a lot of times it didn't work, but you live and learn, and hopefully this year a better plan comes in place so that it connects every time.
Hit and runs aren't the easiest feat to
Oh,
accomplish,
they're not.
and when it did work, I mean, I think as a fan that doesn't know like the ins and outs of the games, you see more success than you see failures. As a player, you foul a ball off and you're trying to hit and run. That's obviously a fail in that aspect. But a lot of the times there wasn't a lot of like double plays out of it, like line drives of like, oh, why did he go on that? It wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
those situations. So there was more like minor failures than major failures. But I still think in the overall scheme of things, it worked out well for you guys when it did
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. I think for the first year of us playing together, it worked pretty good. So, um, but yeah, you're right. There's, the perspective of it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just got to keep going.
Speaking about the offseason, what is something in your game that you're always trying to improve
Honestly, everything. I'm a guy that I work out every day. I enjoy working out. But honestly, every aspect of my game, I try to improve every season. I try to improve it, um, because that's just the type of player I know I'm going to be utilized in a different way than a lot of players, so I have to be able to be in shape. The big thing for me is just be in shape, and if I can maintain my health throughout the season, a lot of good things can happen on the field. It's not so much mechanical things, just be in overall good shape, baseball shape, and from that point on, I already know how to play the game. So it's just about staying healthy.
as far as staying healthy and being healthy, has your from like high school, college to where you're at now, has your diet changed a lot? Like what kind of diet sort of, what things have you cut out? What kind of things to kind of help you stay healthy? I know there's
Yeah,
some people that are strictly like, I only eat this, this, and this. Like, are you one of those that are strictly about it, or are you kind of like it
no, I'm
depends?
not. I'm not super strict, but yeah, you're right. Especially when I was in high school and college, um, being in college, for example, they had a good they'll cater to us very well. But when you're in college, you're so young, you're constantly burning off energy. So and you're still growing too. When I was in college, I was still growing. I was, after college, I actually got a little bit bigger and stronger. But um, I think that was just a phase of me just growing into my body and just getting in shape. But now that I'm 25 now, I just try to eat a lot of protein, vegetables, and drink a lot of water. And then, occasionally, you could get hamburger, whatever you like to eat. But that stuff, like, I don't crave it as much as I used to when I was younger for some reason. Now that I'm older, I crave more, stuff that's going to help me on the field. Like, I could feel it, like the energy, get good energy to get on the field. But when I was younger, yeah, I would eat probably more, uh, whatever was provided too. But now I do cook myself. So I know what helps me and what's gonna make me feel a little tired, but a lot of protein, just protein, eggs, beef, like ground beef, ground turkey, ground chicken, change it up. That's what I was doing last year. Um, Rice is good. You know, try to stick a little bit away from the rice now with the carbs, trying to cut the carbs a little bit. But once I'm in season two, like I have more flexibility, honestly, because I'm on the field all day. I'm on the field from I don't know. I get there by 11 a.m., 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Well, the game starts at 7 p.m. So I'm there all day. So you're just constantly burning energy. But yeah, diet's important.
Speaking transitioning to a game day, what is your are you a superstitious person, or you have like your daily routine that you do? What's a life in what's in Gio Diaz's game day life? What's that look like?
No, I'm not that superstitious really. The only thing I'm really like I like to do before the game is just get get warmed up properly. So that way when I'm in the game, I feel loose, I feel light, I feel ready to go. Um, but in terms of like I got to do this certain thing every single day. No, I don't. I don't have superstition other than being able to get on the field and making sure I get my body ready. That's it. As long as my body's ready to go and I feel warmed up and ready to play 9 innings and play them hard, doesn't matter how my day's going really. I just go about it.
Are you a nap before the game person, or are you I'm gonna stay up until the game's over with, and then when I get home I go to bed?
Yeah, usually I think there was a couple times during the season where the energy was a little bit I might have been sick or wasn't feeling good, so I might have taken a nap just to get energy. But usually I'm so excited to get to be on the field that from from the time where we're working out, doing our pregame workouts, we go back into the clubhouse. I'm usually um I'm usually ready to go for the game, excited to go. I'm always excited to play the game. So uh, then I'm 25. You might ask this when I'm older. When I'm a lot older, maybe yeah, the naps are gonna probably have to come and play. But I'm only 25 and only been in professional baseball for about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. So there's a lot of excitement that I have as a player, getting to be in this game still. That you might not be the same as when I'm older, when I've been in the game for that long. But I don't think the passions, I don't think the excitement is ever gonna change because I just like baseball so much that it excites me to go out there and play that fatigue doesn't really cross my mind a lot of the times when I get to compete.
I guess I should have asked this at the beginning, but your baseball you live, breathe, eat, sleep baseball.
Yep.
What got you into baseball in the first place?
Man, I'll honestly say my dad because a lot of people don't realize, but my dad he's a lot. In my opinion, he's a lot better baseball player than I am. Bigger, stronger, faster. Like he had five tools literally. Like that's why I always tell people my dad got me into the game. Um, he played Division II baseball. But just his talent, I was able to watch him play. He played a lot of Mexican League baseball here in California growing up, and I would play with them. I'll go and watch and I would get to play sometimes. Maybe when they're losing or whatever, I'll be able to get in and work out and play games with them. And just his ability to hit the ball, his ability to field, just watching your dad do it, that's gonna make you want to do it as a kid. And every single day we practiced as a kid, and I got to watch my dad play. So when you're a kid and you get to watch your dad play baseball, it's usually gonna make you want to do the same thing. Um, but yeah, my dad's ability at a young age, I really watched him and how he played, and that really got me into the game. But then just everything, how he played the game, how hard he worked, how he prepared before the game, things like that. I was always attentive, and even now, I'm the type of player where I learn a lot by watching others. I might not talk a lot, but I always am watching the game, and I'm always trying to learn something from other players. That's one thing that I learned from my dad too. Just at a young age, watching your dad play. It might have not been the most competitive games, but there were grown men playing, and you're 3, 4, 5 years old. So for you, that's like, oh man, this is serious baseball. And just watching baseball a lot too, like every day, watching the game, you're either gonna like it or not like it. And I ended up liking it a lot.
Yeah, baseball is one of those in and out sports here. You're gonna either fall in love with it or you're just not bat an eye at it.
Yep, that's how it is.
But you talk about your dad, looking up your dad, watching him play, and so on and so forth. Was there like professional players that playing in the MLB that you looked after, try to model your game after, or just kind of take bits and pieces from, and then it kind of leads into what team did you enjoy watching when growing up?
Yeah, that's a good question because I've been a baseball fan ever since I could remember, watching the game. Um, but in terms of okay, so for starting out, my favorite player was obviously I have to say now my favorite player was my dad because he got me into the game. he played the same style of game that I play, but at 6'2", 6'3", you know. So he was a bigger guy playing with that aggression. So I learned the game from him watching it. So I always say my dad's my number one favorite player. And then growing up, I remember vividly really watching like those 2004, 2005 series with like the Red Sox and Yankees. Like people always ask me like, Jill, like what are some of the games that you remember like watching or growing up? And I always remember watching like Manny Ramirez going against A-Rod and Derek Jeter, David Ortiz, like those two teams in like 2004, 2005, the mid 2000s when I was growing up. Those were the teams that were always going at it with each other. And just watching those two teams go at it, like the intensity and the fans, that made my love for, I think, the game increase even more growing up. Just watching that level of baseball. Um, but you know, those two rivalries too, like when you're a kid in the mid 2000s watching that those were intense games. And watching that level of baseball too, like watching it, that kind of inspired me to put on a uniform and play, you know, get the opportunity to compete, because those two teams at the time were competing hard. You know, the Red Sox and Yankees in the mid 2000s, that was a serious rivalry, and they were playing hard. And you know, as a young kid watching that really sparks a fire in you to be a part of the game, to say.
Yeah, the mid 2000s was probably a really good era for baseball there. Being a White Sox fan, they won in 2005 and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But you just had a lot of stuff going on in that era. You had the juggernauts of the Red Sox and the
Yeah.
Yankees. You had at the time Sammy Sosa and
Mm-hmm.
what's the guy from I can't think
Mark
of his name.
McGwire.
Mark McGuire,
Yeah.
all of them, like Mark Burley, I'm terrible with names and dates and stuff. My
No, yeah.
memory is, but that was just back in that day. The intensity of baseball was probably the prime time to really like baseball.
No doubt. I mean, I remember being 5 years old in 2004, 6 years old in 2005, watching the Red Sox and Yankees. And I felt like every time I turned on the TV after school or before school, whatever, and I would turn on for baseball, ESPN, it'd always be the Yankees and Red Sox playing or them talking about the game. But watching those two teams, like, and they had great players, you know, A-Rod, Derek Jeter, um, you know, Cano played second base. I mean, they had some really good teams, you know. And the Red Sox, they had a great team in the mid 2000s, and they were playing serious baseball. It's not like the baseball now where there's a lot of friendships on the field and things like that. Back then, they were friends. They're all friends, but the intensity of the game and things got chippy, and it was so much fun as a fan during the mid 2000s. Growing up, it was a good time to watch baseball.
Yes, I would agree. You turn on TV now against two rivals, you can kind of you
Uh-huh.
don't feel the animosity. The only
Yeah.
ones you really feel the animosity for now is the Houston Astros for what happened with that whole
Mm-hmm.
situation. But back in that day, it was like, oh, you turn the game on and everyone's sitting glued to the TV, really,
Yeah,
making sure that was the game to watch. Anytime the
that was
Yankees Red Sox play, you turn off whatever you're watching. That's what you're end up
exactly.
watching. On the team or that you've played in the past with even last year that may not be on the team this year that you're still kind of in contact with?
In terms of contact, it's hard to stay in contact with all your teammates. But honestly, the reason why I had such a good year last year was all the teammates I had. I learned from every single one of them in one way or another. Um, but yeah, you're right. In terms of contact, like I talked to LG a lot every day. Obviously, he was my roommate. LG was a guy that when I first came in, the level he has so much experience in professional baseball because we're both 99 birthdays, but he's been playing professional baseball, professional baseball since 17, 18 years old while I was in college. So like for him, he's seen a lot of baseball. And LG was one of the first guys that were guys in my age group or being the same age that had the same level of uh, admiration for the game and the same level of hunger to go out each day and just put in work. Like we both have that mindset of just let's put in as much work as we can and let's just see how this game goes. But LG, I mean Woodworth helped me out a lot in second base. Lengo was a great person to learn from in infield. Um, Countless guys. I mean, I'm not naming enough guys, but last year's team was, man. I when I got on the field last year, I was like, man, this team Like there's a lot of good players on this in this squad. Unfortunately, on paper it didn't show not a lot of wins or whatever, but man, the players from last year were that was one of the best teams I've been on, honestly, in terms of from start to bottom. And I look at this year's team of the new pickups that we have. I mean, I'm even more excited to just meet new guys and pick their brain on how to improve. How can I learn from them to improve my game and take it to that next level? But man, the guys that Lamar gets is just they're great athletes. They know how to play baseball. And even if things don't go the way they may seem during that season for them, the players that Lamar knows how to pick are just excellent baseball players. Every single one of them last year, I was like, man, this is a good team.
Yeah, I mean, last year, I mean, his first year, he inherited a completely different roster, and last year was his first real time really back into the partner league, into independent baseball, outside of affiliate ranks. And he was talking about just trying to build a connection, build the roster, that kind of stuff. And there was a lot of injuries last year that kind of hindered the team, and it's hard to replace those players. And that's the one thing at the beginning of the year last year. I mean, everyone was like, Gary's going to go places. They're going to compete for a spot. And it started out the gate really hot. You had some injuries. Irwin got hurt. Harrison Francis got hurt.
Yeah.
Woodworth went down for a little bit. I think Lingual was hurt for a little bit. But I mean, those two positions, you were there to back that up anyways. I know LG was injuring battling an injury all year, that kind of stuff. So injuries don't help anything, but looking at this year's roster, and I look at the pitching staff, you got Franklin Perez, who was basically a number one prospect in all of MLB. I think it's top three MLB baseball. He got hurt. He's coming over. There's a lot more infielders. I think Mikey Perez was one of those. I think he kind of fits a similar role you do, and
I
that
played with
stuff.
I
Yeah,
actually
did you?
played with Mikey in Portland. We played for the Portland Pickles, and was it 2018? I think we played. We played together. So yeah, he's a good ball player too. UCLA. I played against him too at UCLA, and yeah, when I saw that name, I was like, wow, that's a good player.
Yeah, I'm just saying you're just looking at the roster this year, and I think the pitching staff has been bolstered a lot. I think we lost. I think Harrison Francis is still in Mexico. I think he's playing in the Mexican League still.
He is.
Um, so I mean, you're bringing in some Sanabria pitched a couple games in for Houston in the MLB, that kind of stuff. We're bringing in those kind of presence, so it's interesting to see. Um, you know, is there when you're looking at the roster, is there a potential player that you may that you're interested to pick their brain with, or is it just kind of anyone and everyone?
Honestly, it's pretty much everyone because I really like talking with guys a little bit older as well that been for example like for last year Jackson Valera, for example. He's been in the Yankees organization
Mhm.
for since a very young age, and he's already in his 30s. I think he's 30 now. So a guy like that is a guy that he has a lot to offer for a guy that doesn't have 5+ years in professional baseball. And then you guys within my range, it's I learn a lot by just working out, like being able to work out with them and just going through the grind together. Um, but yeah, I'm just a player that I'm very grateful to be in a position to not only help a team win, but to get to meet great players and great teammates that they know a lot about the game. And I'm a receptive person. I will learn a lot by watching, and I'm always looking to improve my game and connecting with players to do that. So yeah, like I said, knows how to bring in good players and good athletes, and we'll see how everything goes. In order to win, we just have to be healthy. Like
Mhm.
I think Lamar touched on that to win games, your whole team has to be healthy throughout the whole year,
Mhm.
and we just do
Um,
that preparation. Yeah.
looking at this season, kind of like off the field kind of situations, or that what what's a what's a place that you enjoy going? Like, what visiting ballpark or area do you enjoy going to?
Uh, Honestly, like I last year being my first year in the league, I was kind of like in La La Land with a lot of the places. But I was also I've always enjoyed going to different places and playing baseball. Like I've always enjoyed going on the road. Like there's not a place where I was like, oh man, we got to go there. No, I've never, even as a kid, I was never like that because I enjoy going to other places and competing. You know, I really enjoy that, and I enjoy traveling, get to see different places. But in terms of stadium, that's like Gary. I enjoyed Gary. I probably enjoyed Gary the most because of how nice the stadium is, and a stadium that's very close to Gary with how nice it's well kept up and things like that is probably like a Chicago. You know, playing in Chicago was wow. It feels like Gary in terms of how nice the field is, like well kept. The grass is nice, the dirt's nice. Chicago is a really nice in terms of the playing surface to play on is really nice. And honestly, every city that we get to go to, I really enjoy it. Like I had a good series last year in Cleveland where I just went off, and it was very hot there, and it was like a lot of it was a tough series because of how hot it was. And it was during that time. It was like guys were just like kind of getting a little tired. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit like okay, I was feeling it a little bit, but even playing in a Cleveland where it was very hot, it was still a nice place to go and travel to and get to enjoy it. And I'm still at that point in my career where I'm just enjoying each and every place I get to go to because it goes by quick. This professional career goes by very quick. And I'm only 25, so I get, there's a lot of places where, I get to go somewhere, but I might not get to see every part of it or get to see as much as I like because I'm so focused on the game. But as I get older, I'm able to enjoy, I'll be able to enjoy, I'll get to know things more as well because I've been to different places back to back or whatever. But Chicago's a nice stadium. I liked it. Milwaukee's nice. South Dakota was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the places I liked all the stadiums really that we played at. Honestly, I really did.
So I'm a big natural grass person. I love baseball fields, but natural grass, football fields, I can care less. It is what it is. Do you prefer playing on artificial or natural grass?
Honestly, I do. I enjoyed the natural grass feel. It just feels more classic. It's a classic feel. But the way these fields are now, like the way they're kept up, it's almost like the same. Like the way these grasses are, it's so nice. It's almost like a turf field. Like there's no bad bounces, anything like that. But I like the classic feel of your cleats hitting the dirt, and I like classic field. Yeah.
I know this is this is more for people that never played on artificial turf or grass. Obviously the playing surfaces are a bit different, especially how the ball comes off, speed, that kind of stuff. What are like some of the biggest differences that you see? If it's playing, the infield and outfield, is there, what's the main differences between the two?
Well, there's been times where there's some turfs like for example, I was in Jalisco, Guadalajara, the Charros de Jalisco, and that turf like I was playing outfield and that turf, if the ball hits that turf, it bounces like crazy. And there's some turfs that don't do that. I remember Puerto Rico, a lot of the fields in Puerto Rico, the ball doesn't bounce as much in Puerto Rico. The turf is something with the turf, it doesn't bounce as much. In the American Association, Cleburne, I only played a couple games in Cleburne. I've only played 4 or 5 games in Cleburne, so I haven't really had the opportunity to like really examine like how the turf works, like how the ball comes up, but it seemed pretty natural. If anything, the American turf, it really like it plays fast. But I'll tell you, in when I was in Mexico, the fields were natural, dirt and grass, but they played like turf. They played really fast. Like in Puebla, when I was in Puebla, the field there, that field, like it was like it seemed like the ball gained velocity if it hit the ground. It was very strange, and it was a natural field. So yeah, each field, that's the thing about baseball, each field has its own characteristics and how it wants to play that day, and that's the interesting thing about baseball is that each stadium has its own characteristics that each player may or may not know about. and it's to the advantage of the person that knows about it, obviously.
Looking throughout the league, like there's a couple big signings. The big one for me is Yermin Mercedes signs with
Yeah,
Kansas City.
so
Is there a player on opposing teams that you're, maybe interested to play against or, talk to?
I mean, I remember last year, I didn't know too much about like the transactions. Like, I was never a player to like look at like a transaction list and be able to see like, okay, these are the transactions of the day or this is the roster. Usually, when I get on the ball field, I just go and compete. But um, obviously, this year I saw the Yermin Mercedes signing. That's gonna be cool to be able to compete against him. He's had a good career. Last year, we're getting to play against Hector Sanchez, the catcher. He was in Kane County. Growing up in California, I was a giant. I watched a lot of the Giants games in 2012, 2012, 2014 when they won the championship World Series. He was a part of some of those teams, and um, you know, him catching there and me hitting, we had some conversations, and it was all good conversations, and the cool thing about baseball, you never know who you're gonna meet. Like, one day you might meet somebody here, and then the next day they're in a different place. So, for me, I'm always first and foremost, I'm always excited to meet my teammates. That's like my number one excitement thing. Like, oh, I'll get to meet my teammates, work with them, and then once we go on the road or a new team comes in, I'll check out like, okay, who's on this team that I know or played against, and get to meet and get to talk with them. But like I said, I'm only 25. Like, I haven't been in the game for that long, so there's not like it's not like a spreadsheet of people that I know or played against. But there's quite a few guys that from different leagues we've probably played against, or I've watched them on TV or something, and I just want to say, hey man, great, you're a great player. Like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And so, a lot of them are very receptive, and they will give back. But that's the cool thing about baseball. The people you meet a lot of cool people.
Just kind of looking at, last year, you were rooming with LG and Chuck was your
Yep.
host family.
Yep.
I went to a Blackhawks game with him over
Nice.
the winter time, that kind of stuff. But I know you don't probably spend a lot of time, with the host family and stuff like that, but what's that experience like being a player and then, a family opening up their house for you to, basically sleep in most of the
Yep.
time?
Yep. No, it's awesome experience because you know, Chuck and Chuck's family, they're big baseball fans. Like, they love Gary, the city of
Mhm.
Gary. They love the RailCats. They know everything about the league. They're big fans. So when you're around people like that, you feel so comfortable because you could talk the game, and they know so much about the game. So it's a very nice situation when you get to meet people that friendly and that have the same passion for you, which is baseball, and enjoying those summer days on the field. It's amazing. I can't wait to go back. And I talked to Chuck the other day, and man, we had a long conversation about baseball. And that's just those are the type of people I love being around. Is people that love baseball, and they just have we share a deep passion for the game, and we enjoy it. So it makes the initial interaction comfortable, and then afterwards it just becomes a really good friendship after that.
Yeah. Now, host family and the American Association, that's starting to become a big thing. I know that most of it's to help with the pay and all the other stuff. But when you go to like the Puerto Rican League, the Mexican League, was a host family an option for you, or was that kind of like something that was contracted in, for you, like, here, we'll pay for some of your housing, or how did that work in
Yeah,
the other leagues?
when I was in Puerto Rico, for example, I was staying. They had us in apartments. I was staying in apartments. But in Puerto Rico, there's a lot of Puerto Rican players that go back to the island and they stay with their family. Like, major leaguers that they just stay with their family.
Mhm.
And people, the travel in Puerto Rico is very light travel. It's not hours and hours of
Yeah.
traveling. It's just city to city to city because it's a small island. Um, Mexico is a little different because it's a bigger country, and you stay in apartments and the housing is a little different. But United States, obviously, in affiliate baseball, that's how it is. Host families or apartments. So, uh, but the big thing is being on the field is the most. is the best part of it.
Getting into the season, what are some personal goals that you're trying to set for yourself?
Honestly, this season I just want to maintain my health. I want to finish, especially during the middle part of the season, like the months of July and August. I want to my biggest goal July and August to have the same energy as I did going into it, or going at the end. Because as a baseball player, going into it, you have a lot of energy because your excitement. So it carries you into those couple months, and then the heat starts coming in. The dog days, as they say,
Yeah.
of the summer, and it affects every single play. I don't care. I don't care how good of a shape you are. I don't care if you're Iron Man. Like those get like. There's gonna be days where it's a grind. You have to mentally. So as a player, that's always the challenge of how can I maintain the same level of excitement and energy during the middle parts of the year and make sure my body feels like I can play 2 games a day, like that type of feel. Where you play a game, like I can play another game right now.
Mhm.
That's when you know you're in good shape. And there's been moments like that I had in last year where I was telling LG, I was like, man, I could play another game right now. Like, let's play another. Like, that's how much excitement we had and how much energy you have as a young player. But as you get older, you have to be able to you might have to do things a little differently and change your plan. But that's the fun challenge of being an athlete is, you know, maximizing your routine to get the best out of each and every day. So it's not performance based. It's all about how my body feels. That's like the biggest goal. Stay healthy and maintain the same level of energy as I did the first day. That's my goal.
I like that. It's better than just statistics because I know some people lead just I want to do this, and this. I want to
Yeah,
make sure, I think you see that more
exactly.
in pitchers than you do hitters. I think just because they're concerned more about their statistics are more in depth. I mean, I know the
Right.
batters have the launch angles and stuff like that, but you're a player that doesn't really care about that. You're just there to have a good
No,
time, play a game, and kind of go from there. Uh, you
exactly.
know, is there a time? Where you're feeling good about yourself and you said you have an agent, right?
Yeah.
Is there a time where you're feeling you're on a good stretch or it's around that time where you're thinking, is affiliate ball, is there anyone, in the affiliate ranks that are interested in talking to you? Do you ever reach out to your agent and wonder about that stuff, or you just kind of let that come naturally to you if it does?
No, that's a good question. Naturally, for me, I'm always like wanting to know, like, okay, I've had a couple good stretches. What is the next level thinking or whatever. But um, Lamar gives us the best example. Like he gives us the best example for us players. Like last year, for example, Lamar has a lot of experience in professional baseball, more than I do, and he has the ability to tell us like, hey, just relax, play your game, and if the right situations opens up, it's gonna open up for you. And as a player, I think the best learning lesson that I've had and a good way to go about it now as a player that's always trying to improve his game is that just play your game the right way and just see, if you play the game the right way, the right opportunity is going to come, because not every opportunity is the right opportunity. You know what I mean? So, it's better just to wait it off and just to keep going about your game and making sure that right opportunity comes, because there's a lot of times in my career where I've kind of forced opportunities and my game was ready for that opportunity. Just wasn't the right fit, you know, and not every team's the right fit for you.
Mhm.
So taking that time and just, letting things happen naturally is the best way of going about it. And I'm 25, so like the conversation might be a little different when I'm 28 or 29, and it's more like, okay, I want to be in this situation, and the opportunities start to become a little different. But now that I'm still young and healthy, even as a player, I don't even even for me right now, like, I'm just seeing opportunities just open up left and right with and without an agent, and it's just because of the hard work and perseverance that comes as a player. But obviously, as a player, you always want to keep working so that new doors keep opening up for you in season and the off season. So the only way that happens, those doors open up, is just working hard, extremely hard each and every day, and just sticking to your plan. And things will come through that way. But Lamar gives us great advice as well, because he's our manager, obviously, but he also gives us good advice coming from an ex-player as well, like how to handle situations and how to handle different opportunities that come your way.
Yeah, I know talking with him a lot, just kind of getting his insight in certain things, and he just seems like a very uh not 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 blunt person, but he's very open to like the conversations of,
Yeah.
just improvement or what to expect in this situation. Like he treats you guys like professionals, and I think
Yes.
that's one thing you can kind of take away uh from people that I've talked to, is how professional he acts, amongst practices, games, that like obviously it's a professional environment and you want it to be professional. It's not a bunch, not a bunch of college kids running around. So he treats it like that way, and he treats you guys that way. So I think that's something that I think a lot of you guys probably respect from him,
No
is
doubt.
how he treats you guys. Um, Looking at the obviously the big rule change last year was the pitch clock. um, are you a fan of the pitch clock? Does it help you? Did that help you maybe in the aspect of stealing a bunch of bases because you could maybe time some stuff around? But
Yeah.
or was it really like, I could take it or leave it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question because as a pitcher, it has more of an influence on the pitchers, especially because a lot of them feel like they don't have enough time to recover, and they might be feeling like more fatigue, and like in the major league level, they're saying it's causing a lot more injuries. But yeah, I mean, that's a very good question because I'm on kind of like on both sides for it because I do see the need for it, and I do feel bad for the pitchers that are getting injuries and things like that from the pitch clock. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's baseball, and pitchers are gonna pitch, man. Like if the pitcher's really good, it doesn't matter if he has a pitch clock. He's just gonna do his thing with the clock or without the clock. Those are the best pitchers. But um, but for me as a hitter, there's some certain things I had to learn, like being in the box. You can't take as much time as you want. You have to be engaged. But I'm already an engaged
Mm-hmm.
hitter, so it doesn't. I don't really take a whole lot of time to really think about things when I'm up there. I'm really just going in there and try to do my job and get on base. But yeah, it might have helped me a little bit with the pitch clock with in terms of the thing. But I don't try to think too much of that new rule change. I think it's brand new, and I just try to play my game, man. Honestly.
One last question. I like to ask this. What's one fun fact about yourself that you would like people to know?
A fun fact. I don't know, man. I'm pretty. What I do is that exactly what I do, man. I play baseball, and I don't know. Fun fact of myself is, man, that's a good one because it kind of stumps you. I wasn't expecting to. I was expecting to talk about baseball. My fun fact would be, man, here at home, I have a lot of dogs, man. A lot of dogs, bulldogs,
Okay.
a lot of bulldogs, and that's one thing people don't might not know about me is that at home I have a lot of dogs. There's a lot of dogs, and you learn a lot about dogs, man. Like you can learn a lot about dogs in terms of uh their behavior, how they act, how they enjoy playing around. But yeah, when I'm not playing baseball, what am I doing, right? Like, when I'm not training, you can't train every day. What am I doing? But usually when I'm not training, I'm at home spending time with my family and just enjoying, enjoy a TV, enjoy some movies. I try to dabble into video games a little bit, it would be the show that just came out.
Yep.
But it's not the same as like playing the game, you know what I mean? Like that's what I
Yeah.
tell my friends. Like a lot of my friends love video games. I just tell them like, Gio, like pick up and I try, like as LG, like I always know the LG is like, man, let's try to get into this game, like the video game thing.
Yeah.
But it's tough because I play the game and it doesn't feel the same as like going out there and getting to play with the guys. But thankfully we got a couple more weeks and it's game on, we're in the season. But yeah, just a fun fact would just be, I'm a chill guy. I like to when I'm not training or working out, which is what I do every day. I like to just hang out with my family, and I have a lot of dogs, like a lot of dogs. You come to my house, like you're gonna be like, what? Like there's
Hey, I'm a big
fun.
dog person, so
Me
I
too.
got two dogs, but that the dog I'm always
And they're
dog
entertaining.
person.
They're
Yes.
always entertaining.
Yes,
They're
they
always
are.
doing something funny, or maybe they're not doing something well behaved, but it's always a good time. I like helping out my family here. So
Well, I want to say thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you stepping an hour or so out of your day to come onto the podcast and get to know, so the fans get to know you a little bit more on that aspect of it. And I'm
no,
really
thank you, Kyle.
yep, I'm really excited to watch you play again in the maroon and green, green or white, however you want to call the colors are all over the place. But yeah, I'm excited to see you back in the South Shore and getting the season started. So like I said,
Yeah,
I appreciate it, and well, I guess I'll see you at the Steel Yard.
yeah,
I'll probably see you at Chicago first because I'm probably getting
yeah.
tickets to go to Chicago first. But
That's
the
right.
17th, we'll see you at the Steel Yard.
Oh yeah,
So
you'll see me, and then
yep.
thank you, Kyle. It's a lot of fun being on here, getting to talk with you, and yeah, I'll see you out there very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
And there you have it. Thank you, Gio, for joining the podcast and taking a nice hour out of your day. There was a lot to unpack there. Not to unpack like as far as like bad things, but just like interesting things to get in the mindset of a baseball player and how Gio Diaz's mind works, because his personality kind of reflects what you see on the field, being that kind of quiet person that works hard and learns the game. And I just the idiosyncrasies behind everything, and him talking about his experience of not being experienced in professional baseball. Obviously he had the couple years with the Nationals, and he had the year with the Rocky Mountain Vibes, that kind of stuff, and coming into this year and his journey between the Puerto Rican League and Mexican League and all that other stuff. So it was just a lot to unpack there and learn, and nice chat to, how he looked up to his dad being, his favorite baseball player, because most time you ask a player who's his favorite player is, and he's going to give you an MLB player. So it's always interesting to see that kind of stuff and his personality and all that other good stuff behind it. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for me. RailCats Talk podcast on most of all social media, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this, and go.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.